month 11 of 12 in our series, Creating Your Badass Red Dress Life. Today you are embarking on the next level of transformation and reinvention of your life, your sexual freedom. This is the last topic of our co-creation level in this series. There is much to explore and unravel in this hotly loaded topic, which stirs up so many emotions and beliefs, both on the surface and those which are ingrained deep inside you. We started this journey with building a foundation and moving into self-development, followed by personal creation and now co-creation. While today's discussion will focus mainly on sexual freedom, the ideas and processes we talk about can be applied to any aspect of your life, including your health, your finances, and your quality of life. I will share with you the 5 steps to sexual freedom without guilt, shame, or judgment. Hi, I'm Kat Junquist, or Badass Kat, and today you are continuing your journey outside yourself by learning the 5 steps of sexual freedom without guilt, shame, or judgment. And before I begin, I'd like to set the stage with appreciation for the abundance in my life by giving thanks and acknowledgement to the people who make BARDS and my life the amazing journey that it is. So first, to my partner in life and business, Mark Clayton, I thank you for your support, your love, and your input. You always provide such wonderful wisdom and support as I create these series and the other things that we create in life. To the ladies who have joined us here in person today, thank you so much for taking your time to be here. It's really important to me that I have my live audience and that I connect one-on-one with people. And to those of you joining us virtually today, whether it's live or you're watching the replay, I thank you so much for taking time to watch the series and to engage at the level that you're ready. And also to Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf for the free use of their community room where we get to be today, so thank you. You've been on an amazing journey this past year, and I began teaching this series in April of 2018 with the topic of awareness. And each month you've built on the topics, built your growth to first turn deeply inward and connect with the very depths of your authentic self. So let's dive into our 5 steps of sexual freedom without shame, guilt, or judgment. And those 5 steps are pure positive energy, liberation, abundance, freedom, and your authentic self. So to begin our discussion, I want to ask a few questions. So the first one is, what do you think about when you hear the words sexual freedom? You can just jump in whenever you're ready.
I just think that it's probably the way I was raised, but that there's something terribly wrong with it.
Okay. That sexual freedom is bad?
That's like my first gut reaction. It's like, that can't be okay.
Any other thoughts?
I kind of view it as kind of something empowering. I think that being able to be sexually free kind of makes you feel just on top of the world. Like you don't have any shame about who you are, and you know from inside that you're not afraid to be who you are.
Nice. Excellent. And the next question is, what is one thing that you believe holds you back from becoming the sexually free woman you desire to be? I know there's probably many, but just kind of think about one thing right now.
I think it's just fear of just fear of acceptance. That no one will accept it.
That's a big one. Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I'm doing what I know will make me truly happy. And then it's later I feel really, I'm doing it and I'm living it. And so even though it's contrary.
But do you still find that there's something that is holding you back from really embracing it, or it's something that's still along your journey that you're working through?
The only part that's the most difficult to embrace is that letting my family know.
Okay.
And I don't know why I feel like I have to do that. Like, why do I even have to do that? I'm an adult.
Right, yeah. Right.
But it's that whole.
Okay. And then my final question is, what could change, if you could change one thing about your sex life, what would it be? Is there one thing, just kind of think about where you are right now. Is there something else that you'd like to change about that?
I like to just feel more empowered in it. Just being able to say, this is what I want, it's okay.
Nice.
I just want to be more comfortable with the choices I've made. So I've made the decision to be solo poly because I'm a single mom and care for my dad, and I want my number one focus to be the two of them. But I still have this idea that I need like a primary person I'm attached to, so that on the outside, everyone, it's all about so that everyone will see that I've got it together. Anybody on the outside, but it has nothing to do with, it's really in my own best interest. It's just what society and what the church I grew up in says.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing, ladies. So we're going to jump into step 1, which is pure positive energy. And we have what we call this a quadrant. So it's kind of a process that helps us lay out the flow of these different steps and how they all interrelate with each other. So the first one is pure positive energy. What do you think about when you hear pure positive energy?
Not letting anything negative reach down. You're just always going to know that you're doing something that's right and keep moving forward.
I think you said it. It's that confidence and assurance, but it comes with that confidence in yourself where you're like, I'm doing this. And I see people that do that very like with ease. This is who I am.
So step 1. So my husband Mark's been saying for a while now that he helps people stretch and exercise their mental and emotional muscles. And this is so true. And he has certainly been my most amazing mentor and has helped me stretch and exercise my mental and emotional muscles over the 5 years we've been together. And when I began my non-monogamous journey 6 years ago, I was still deeply rooted in monogamous thinking, and I had to stretch and exercise to understand what non-monogamy really was. And that's a huge learning curve for most people when they shift over to this concept of wanting to be sexually free, wanting to be relationship free, and seeing that there's different avenues out there. There's polyamory, there's friends with benefits, there's open relationships, there's a wide range of options that are out there. But we all come from that monogamous mindset of culture and family and religion and however you've been influenced to understand how sex and relationships are supposed to interact and intersect. It really all comes from a monogamous point of view. And so my first triad relationship was riddled with issues of drama and jealousy, a lack of clear communication, and embodied a lot of what we call the default relationship patterns, which are learned in monogamous culture. And while I was sitting in this quadrant, I wanted to change. I felt like I was jumping into the pool of, non-monogamous pool of freedom, but then it's like quickly finding I'm drowning because I don't know what I'm doing. And so in this area, I had to start understanding that there is a totally different mindset. And it's all about creating new normals, which I believe is month 5 that we talked about. So as I entered into my new life, I was still holding on to guilt, shame, and judgment, both internally and externally. So even though we're in this pure positive state that we want to change, we want to do something different, all three of these areas are still at play. And they are, whether they're conscious or they're unconscious, these are sitting in your purview and they're impacting your thoughts, your feelings, and your words, which is what we talk about in your internal GPS system, which is 1-4. So these are still at play here. And a lot of people get stuck here because that's kind of that first jump. So, oh yes, now I'm going to be non-monogamous. I'm going to be polyamorous. And in being polyamorous, I'm going to have multiple relationships because, you know, I don't want to get tied down. I want to have free love. I want to share myself. But so many people carry these three areas with them. They carry the monogamous mindset, and what they end up doing is they create relationships with multiple people in a monogamous mindset. And that's why you see so many people on the threads in Facebook or other avenues that are in poly groups that are struggling with jealousy, struggling with how to deal with time, how to manage time with this partner or that partner, how to handle relationship, telling our family, how to tell, you know, what holidays do we spend together? Well, I want to go on vacation. I want to stay home with the family. I want to be with this person. I want to. So they get, because it's all from that monogamous mindset, that there's a specific structure about what a relationship looks like, and they try to fit polyamorous relationships into the monogamous mindset. So even though they're here, the pure positive energy, and they really want something new, they don't know how to get it.
So they don't have the framework in their head of how to make it work and be successful. And there's no way to do that without someone who's been there and done that before, or doing a lot of reading, or doing a lot of, you know, podcasts, or just really doing the research. But you also need the community, and that's what this is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank God.
And again, you know, even the communities that I see, and I was a leader up in the Seattle area in the poly community, there's still a lot of people that are stuck here, and so this just keeps regurgitating. They try to find ways around it, but they really don't understand that it is a complete shift in your head and in your heart, that non-monogamy is something totally different than how relationships have been built up in the past through monogamous mindsets. So the other thing that I find is, as we talk about the other quadrants, some people try to jump quadrants without going through the flow. And that's also where that creates a lot of tension and a lot of drama and issues, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. So becoming non-monogamous is not just about moving from having one sexual or relationship or romantic relationship to having multiple ones. It truly is a fundamental shift in your mindset about who you are and how you will engage in relationships and sex. It is completely different. And so the 5 key foundational shifts that need to take place in this quadrant are, and that we also talk about creating your new sexual freedom muscles, are being growth-minded, awareness, intentionality, consistency of application, and incremental steps. So we, in one of the talks, there's a list of, it's called the emotional scale, and it goes from the very bottom of despair and depression all the way up to pure joy, love, and alignment. You cannot go from the bottom to the top in one step. You can take incremental steps, and you can only go so far up the scale at any given time because of the law of attraction and the other universal laws that are in play. It won't allow you to make those huge leaps. You actually have to go through the steps and go through the work of releasing the things that you don't want and embracing the things that you do. And it is a learning journey around this lifetime. And you'll fluctuate between all of that as you grow. So it's not like once you achieve that upper level that you're always going to stay there. It is a constant fluctuation in your life. But those 5, growth-minded awareness, intentionality, consistency of application, and incremental steps are the foundational shifts that need to happen in this area in order to move to the next level. So as I kind of share some of this, what thoughts are coming to mind, or what questions are forming around pure positive energy and this concept of making this fundamental shift?
I was just thinking of the emotional stages and how my experience with going from like depression and then just feeling really kind of like outraged, and then having that scale let me know that I was making progress, and that, just being angry was a step forward, and that helped a lot. And that even after that, like I had these feelings of being really bored, but then knowing that was even more progress because I was bored in the state I was in and the life that I had created that society said was okay. So then it was like, and then I could evaluate that as well.
Those 3 seem like, once you get over that, it's like getting over the hump. And then you're like, okay, great, now I moved past that. Now I can continue on the journey of acceptance of yourself. And I think that's what's truly important and what I'm seeking.
Right. And as you see, we'll go through this. It's a process of letting them go.
Yeah.
It's not just, that all of a sudden you can flip that switch, as I said, and you can't go from depression to, alignment. It is a process.
Yeah.
And so as we go through each one, you'll see the progression of how we let go of these different things and how it all plays out together. So pure positive energy is the foundation for the next step, which is liberation. So in liberation, we are releasing the self-judgment. So we're still having some guilt and some shame, but we've at least let go of the self-judgment. And that allows us to move into that next level of really starting to open ourselves up to feeling the sparks of freedom. Because what we feel when we hit that liberation level is that, yes, now I can go. And it's this boost of excitement and energy. But yet, these things are still, and because these are the more deeply seated pieces, the self-judgment is usually more on the surface. So that's the one we let go of first. So we do feel a sense of relief. We feel a sense of release with that first level of judgment dissipating, or at least we're kind of setting it on the shelf for a little while, so that we can manage how we're going to work through that. So, while shame and guilt are still in play, you've allowed yourself to start exploring sex and sexuality at a new level, and you're giving yourself permission to truly explore who you are, what you desire, what turns you on, and to open yourself to the new possibilities. So what judgments do you currently have or have had in the past that have gotten in the way of your sexual freedom?
Currently what I'm facing right now is that I've been in a monogamous relationship for 8 years, and all of a sudden I just went, not kind of all of a sudden, but I just started realizing how unhappy I was in that monogamous relationship. And it's not that I'm unhappy with my partner,
Right.
It's more that I'm just unhappy with the situation I created. And I have that judgment of myself being a bad person because I'm leaving such a wonderful person that loves and accepts me, but doesn't really love and accept me, because they're not letting me want to be me without holding on to me tightly.
Right.
And I think I'm learning to, just let go of that judgment on myself and just understand that that's his problem.
Right. That is a huge piece, because because so many times we take on the responsibility of the other person, their thoughts, their feelings, their wishes, their desires, and we squash our own, especially as women. And that is part of our conditioning and our indoctrination in societies that we're the givers, right? We're the sacrificers. We're the ones that give up ourselves so that everybody else's life is easier. And that's not the way it should be at all. Because what we end up doing is we end up hurting ourselves, and we're not the best version of who we are. So we're not giving that partner the best version. We're not giving our children the best version. We're not giving our work the best version because we have stifled the true, authentic self in just that way. And so it's all the monogamous thinking and the way that we're indoctrinated into society, it's hard to tease out. But now you're here, for sure, and now we're moving here. Excellent.
So what was the question again?
So what judgments do you currently have or have made towards yourself in the past regarding sex?
So I think what I'm doing is I can explain, and this you made real clear over the weekend, is that I tell people I'm dating and I'm just kind of trying people on, but the fact that I'm dating and I don't have like a primary person makes it okay with society that, so I'm really still trying to like please society's view of me, like, and I'm looking for that approval. So that's definitely a problem that I've noticed that I want to work through. And then the other one is I've noticed lately with certain partners in dating, I am not asking for what I want. I am asking them, what do you want to get out of this time together? And then I just do that. And the only people that I can say what I want to are people that kind of know where I am and sense it and will ask. But I don't come right out and say, you know, can we just like go have dinner out, you know, and go see a movie, or, you know, I don't even, for whatever, can you just like hold me for a while? I just don't ask. And I was really good at that because I practiced it for a long time and went to groups just to practice that skill.
Right.
So I just forgot, I guess,
and
along
we'll
the way.
We'll talk about that as well. So then the second question is, when you hear those judgments in your head, whose voice do you associate with that judgment?
For me, it's probably the Catholic Church.
Okay.
That's how I was raised.
I think it's just like my alter me.
Okay.
You know, like I'm monogamously me, and just kind of saying that, like, oh, you shouldn't be thinking that way, you shouldn't be feeling that way.
Yep.
And just stifling my growth for myself.
Right. Yeah.
Me, I'm stopping me.
You're stopping. Yeah, there you go. For me, a lot of it is my mother. I hear a lot of, you know, and some of it's church, but it's mostly her voice. But I also feel the same way as you. It's that I've taken that voice and I've internalized it, and now I'm the one saying that, even though it's her voice in the background, but I've taken that on. And we'll talk more about that as well. So, you know, most likely you've been raised taking on the morals, values, and beliefs of other people, whether it's parents, religious communities, society in general, or peers. So we're taught to accept the viewpoints, beliefs, and values of other people rather than creating your own set of values and beliefs which work for you. And that's also part of what Mark and I talk a lot about, is our lack of taking personal responsibility for creating our own life. And so we call it living on the default. So monogamous mindsets, society in general says, here's the relationship escalator, you date, you move in together, you get married, you buy a house, you have a kid, you live happily ever after. Well, if that doesn't work, then you get off the escalator and you go back and you start again. And you find the next person, and you keep keep going up and down that escalator. And yet, if the relationship goes all the way to the end and the person you're with dies, then you've had a really successful relationship. But if you get a divorce, it's like, you failed, right? You failed. Or you broke up with somebody after a long time. You failed. That relationship failed. Listen to the words we use. Now you've got to go back and start again. Those are really powerful thoughts and feelings and negative ideas about what relationships are and how we engage. And so we don't even realize the words that we use when we have a breakup. Who wants to do that? Why wouldn't we transition a relationship? Why does it have to be something broken? And we talk about divorce and broken homes. Oh, God, ouch. Those are the judgments that we take in, and we, from whatever your experiences is. We internalize all of that and don't know it. So now it's time to create your own beliefs, values, and norms about sex and sexuality. And so a couple of the tools that I've given over the last 11 months are the laws of the universe, our internal GPS, our vision and alignment. But sexual liberation is a reinvention of your beliefs, values, and norms regarding sex, sexuality, relationships, orientation, and engagement. So about a year ago, Mark and I made a video, it's called The 3 Keys to Happiness, and I'll put a link in the description here for that. So those 3 keys are reinvent, reboot, and go downstream. And in the video, we explain what each of those means. So we're taking the first one here, and it's reinvention. So liberation is a process of reinventing your concepts, your ideas about what are your beliefs, what are your values, what are your normals about sex and sexuality, and what works for you. So that's this stuff. So what other thoughts and ideas are coming around that?
I just went blank.
That's all right. So lots to take in. I know this is a big one. This is a really big one.
Yeah, it feels big. Those 3 though,
This whole thing is big.
and then the 3 keys to happiness too. It's big shifts.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I think it's just like it's a matter of like take it in and then just let it go and just do your life for a while and then you take it in again and then you can make those changes.
And that's where I talked about those 5 fundamental pieces is making consistent change over time, but then taking incremental steps that you don't have to feel you're taking these big leaps and bounds. What Mark and I talk a lot about also is that the things that we do in these types of workshops is we're planting seeds. So you're going to take in what you're ready for, and that's going to germinate within you, and the rest of it's going to fall away. So you'll then start focusing on the things that resonate with you, and then that's going to start incrementally sitting around, germinating. You're going to be in a situation you're going to think about, oh yeah, I'm more aware about this situation now. Now I can make a different choice. And then you have that opportunity to make that new choice in that situation. And then it will happen again and again and again. And then the more consistent that you are with that, then you're going to remember, oh yeah, now I'm kind of at that next piece. Now I get it. Now I've lived this part a little bit, and now I'm ready to kind of let that next seed germinate and grow. So, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it doesn't all happen at once, and it doesn't need to all happen at once. As I've coached with women in relationship issues, it's, sometimes leaving the relationship is the best idea. Sometimes it's not. It's figuring out what avenue you want to take, and you may try several different things and still come to that conclusion that, yes, I can't salvage this relationship. It's not going in the direction I really want it, and it is better for me to end that relationship and then move on, or transition that relationship into a friendship if you can, and then move on. Sometimes you can't. With my ex-husband, I could not. And that was okay. And it really was okay. And I worked a lot through to get to that place where I felt comfortable again, whether he did or not, that's totally up to him. So, you know, I know it's a lot, but just, you know, be willing to take it in, and you'll know you're going to take in what you need right now.
And what you're ready for. What I've noticed is that whatever change I'm ready for at that very moment, that's what sticks.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try that. So then I talk to someone who's been doing it for quite a while, and I'm like, what? Tell me more about this. How is this for you?
Any final thoughts on the bridge? Okay. So we're going to move on to step 3, which is sexual abundance. So what do you think about when you hear sexual abundance?
I think it's whatever you feel like you need that would make you feel like you've got all that you need is there and available for you when that time is, even if it, you know, is like no sex at all, but just connecting with people emotionally, or, you know, like the cuddles I lead that are really just all about, it's got that platonic cap, so it's just platonic, but just that whatever you need around that is
That touch, that connection, that physical bonding that happens, and that is the beginning of, you know, moving into sex. It doesn't, and like you said, at times that may be all you need in the moment, and that may be the first place to start for some people.
But it's also that no matter what you need sexually, it's at your disposal. When you need it, how you need it, in whatever way you imagine you could have it, it's available to you, but safely, you know, and consensually.
I just want to talk quickly, saying, trying to reconnect.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So I just cancel the trying to reconnect button, or just let it do its
Does
thing?
does it say cancel and reconnect?
It says cancel and then it says record video.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, do we
So
hit?
you can still record a video, but it won't.
Okay. I think we're back. Okay. Hopefully we're back. It said live up in the corner.
Yeah,
so-
it's live. It says live now. So.
Okay, great. All right, little technical difficulty. So sexual abundance, did you want to share anything or any thoughts? Or...
No, I'm just
Okay.
excited here.
So this quadrant is where you connect with your reinvented sexual self with other people. So you've redefined your values, your beliefs, your norms, and you've reshaped and created even more acceptance for who you are and what you desire. So now it's time to engage with other people. So as you move into outside influence to impact us as much or to the level that we have before, as we open up to sexual abundance. So has anyone tried to shame you for your sexuality, your orientation, or relationship configurations at any point in time?
I just tell them what I think they want to hear, and I word it in a way where I still tell the truth. So I haven't had that issue as of yet, but I would like to be more open and more authentic about who I am when I tell other people.
I think slight digs, maybe not completely trying to shame me, but more or less just saying, well, I wouldn't, have my life like that, or why are you doing this? So and so is such a good person,
Right.
you're such a great match, so you made me feel bad about my relationship and who I am.
Right. Right. That is absolutely shame. Absolutely. Yeah. So the concept of abundance is also not part of the monogamous mindset. The monogamy is built on scarcity. It's built on the concept of scarcity, that there's only one person for you. And if that one person doesn't work out, then and you're gonna have to go find that next one person. So it comes from that scarcity model. So monogamous people see relationships like a pie. So there's only so much of a pie, right? And there's only one pie. So there's only so many people in the pie that you can choose from, and you can only have that one. Non-monogamous mindsets, we see not just one pie, but we see many pies. And not only do we see many pies, but we can make more pies. And so we really see that concept of abundance, that it's not just one person, and if I have more than one person, that I'm taking away from someone else's ability to have more relationships.
But you also said that you can make more pies.
We can make more pies.
That's
Because
nice.
it's not just that there are multiple pies.
You can actually
You can
create them
create them.
and make what like
And
your
make-
favorite flavor
Right. You don't
and
have to just choose from the 4 that are available, right?
and baked just
you
right.
can make whatever pie is gonna work for you. And naturally, that was what sparked my interest at this level, was the idea that I could create the kind of relationship that worked for me. Now, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know how to go about doing it. But I loved the idea that in non-monogamy, I could create any kind of relationship, multiple relationships, men, women, whoever I wanted, at whatever level I wanted. The world truly was available. And that's the difference between the monogamous mindset and a non-monogamous mindset, is that concept of abundance, that we truly embrace that and understand it's something we create.
Well, and you're free of that guilt because you have this ability to just even emotionally connect with a person. We're on this level that's so much deeper than something sexual, but you can have that at the same time as, you know, as
Right. So that's for sexual mindset. So living with the mindset of abundance opens doors to new sexual partners, experiences, explorations, to satisfy your desires and allow you to fulfill your dreams and fantasies. Yet, what happens is when people start out here in pure positive energy, a lot of times they want to jump directly over here to abundance. And that's where a lot of polyamorous people get into what I call trouble. We'll call it trouble. They get into a place where, because they haven't gone through the liberation stage, they haven't redefined their own norms into creating a non-monogamous mindset. They take that energy, they're still holding on to the guilt, the shame, and the judgment, and they try to add multiple partners. Or they jump into kink, or they jump into something that is offering them that sense of freedom that ultimately they want to have, but it won't last, and it will eventually be riddled with the drama and the jealousy and the issues because they haven't worked through these levels down here. And that's what I've experienced in my own journey. I see it all the time on the poly groups, on Facebook and other places, is they jump to here, they haven't done their internal work, and now they're lamenting, well, you know, I'm struggling with this partner, and I'm having this jealousy, and these things aren't working out. I haven't done the internal work. And so this really is, it's a process. And people coming into polyamory really don't understand the deep personal work that is needed to shift. So have you experienced this or know others who have made this lateral shift without doing the work?
I haven't met anyone who has. And so many people will talk like they have, and then when you get, you know, close enough, you can see that. And it's a lot of work.
It is.
And it takes a lot of, you know, just really looking at yourself and taking responsibility.
But I truly believe that if people actually they took a year, just 1 year, And they actually gone through a program, which is what we're creating. We're creating a program that we're going to take people through a year of doing this work so that at the end of that year, they really have created a platform for all the shifts that they need to make so they can move forward. Because it's a lifetime journey. So, we can give you all the tools and the foundations and all of that, but then you've got to take it on. We can provide the support and things ongoing. But going through just 1 year would make such a difference for people to have that guided process so that they didn't go through a lot of the drama and the jealousy and these rotating relationships because this person didn't work out and that person didn't work out and this person, wanted to take me away from my primary partner and all these other things. So it is the work.
And it's nice to have a group like this because you don't have to do it alone.
No.
Because I've been at it 11 months and I've noticed, like, you said something earlier about, like, you can make, what you want to actually happen, like you're baking cookies. Like, I don't know why I went to there, but it's interesting how what I've been thinking that I want and desire, just if I can really picture it, then it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like in front of me in the grocery store. It's like, they're just, I need someone to come to the house and do something. So I ask someone for help. And then the person that comes has some of those traits. It's like, and it is so random and not related at all.
But it is because it's the law of attraction. And so when we dove into the law of attraction in month 3, what happens is when you have thoughts, desires, feelings about something, it can be anything, and you don't offer resistance to it, it shows up for you. And it can show up as quickly as within an hour or a day or a few days. The more resistance we have to an issue or a topic, the longer it takes because we've got to work through some of those feelings and those negative connections around, say, things like money. If we have negative thoughts around money, there's not enough money. It's the scarcity model again, right? There's not enough money. Then money's not going to flow to me. But if I open up and I say, there's an abundance of money, there's plenty of money for everybody, then money starts to flow. And in the last 2 years, I've created a place where I'm now working generally about 30 hours a week, and I make enough money to live my life the way I want. Now I've made shifts in my life so that I can do that, but it's also taken me to a place where I am so much happier, less stressed. I work 4 days a week for the most part. Sometimes I'll do occasional little jobs here and there on the side, but other than that, I work 4 days a week. And it's the dream, right? Most people would look at me and go, really? How do you do that? I'm struggling. I'm not, working myself to the bone. It's like, but that's what I've created because that was the mindset I came into it with, and that was the desire I had. And in 2 years, I've been able to achieve that. It's not that long. It's not that long. So, awesome. So aligned and liberated sexual abundance is where you're in harmony with yourself, and then you attract others who are aligned with you or they're on their path to alignment. So a lot of times we'll find people that are matched either very closely to us or they're maybe just a little bit behind us or just a little bit above us or ahead of us. And so that's the range that we want. When we start, say if we have a really bad day and then we meet somebody at a bar or lunch or whatever, and they're in a really bad place too, and then all of a sudden we start talking about your bad day, and then you find that person really attractive because you've connected on that negative energy. And then if you start going along and you connect with that person over time, you're going to find, ooh, yeah, that's really not a person I want to be with because normally I'm over here, but that day I was over here. And that's the law of attraction. But then we get into a relationship with that person, and then we start to feel expectations and obligations, and then all of a sudden you realize, 2 years down the line, like, yeah, this this is really not somebody I want to be with. And so in monogamy, then you feel stuck, right? Oh, I've invested 2 years in this person, and you know, all this stuff has happened, and well, I guess it's just the way it is, and that's what I've got to do, and that's the person I've got to be with now, because there's scarcity, right? So if I end up not being with this person, then I got to go out and start all over again, and then what if that person doesn't work out? So maybe it's better just to stay with this person. Non-monogamy gives you the preference. It gives you the option. It gives you the world to be able to choose and say, you know, I can have that person. I can enjoy them once a month, once every couple months. Maybe we go out and we do this, we have sex, and then I see them again in 3 months. But then I can create a relationship over here that better suits my needs. But that's the joy of abundance. So once we've achieved abundance, then we get to freedom. So this is where you let go of your soul.
So it is a 4-step
It
process.
is a 4-step process. Well, it's a 5-step process because we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But these are the 4 quadrants that really move you into that place where you are letting go of the guilt, the shame, and the judgment. And that process really does work. So once you're here, you're letting go, and we talked about guilt, so it's a form of internalized self-punishment, and it's imposed as a means of oppressing and holding power over us. So that's where shame comes in. People shame you into feeling guilty, so that they don't have to keep shaming you, because they planted that in you, and now you internalize that and you shame yourself, and that's what guilt is. So you keep telling yourself over and over, oh, I shouldn't be a slut. Oh, I shouldn't be so sexually free. Oh, I shouldn't have sex with so many people. Oh, I shouldn't want to enjoy cake. You know, all these things, whatever it is, you then start telling yourself, you're repeating it. That's the voice you hear, because now they don't have to tell you anymore. So that's the hardest one to let go of, and that's why it's this process. So freedom is about embracing the whole of who you are as your sexual being. It's your fantasies, your desires, your dreams, your fetishes, your boundaries, and most important, loving the sexual woman you are and are becoming. It's a place where you can experience having amazing sexual encounters with multiple people, with or without your partners. You have the ability to choose who, when, where, how many, what you do, and how you do it. From my journey to sexual freedom, my relationship with my husband Mark is amazingly enhanced, and we really treat each other as a way that we are free and autonomous people. So even though we are connected, we are life partners, we're building a lot of things together, we're very deeply connected. We are able to be the free and autonomous individuals that we are, and to support each other in having sex and sexual experiences with other people. And in fact, over the weekend we had a party, and it was really fun to see him with other people and get really turned on by that. And it really is an amazing experience when you can reach this level where you're so comfortable with who you are that you truly allow everyone in your life to be who they are. So through this autonomy and freedom that we share, we are drawn closer. So, and that's, you would think, well, if you're autonomous and you're out there doing other things, but when you try to hold on to something, you're limiting and restricting that. So even when you think about, if you have a dog, let's say, you're taking your dog for a walk and you have them on a leash. Now they're pulling, right? They're pulling, they want to run, but you're restricting them, right? because you have control. You're saying, no, we have to do it this way. This is the expectation. But once you get to the dog park, you let them off, and they're running free, they get to be who they really are. They get to be that free-loving dog, just jumping around, running around, having fun. And that's what we want for ourselves and for our partners. And so that's...
It's like a puppy dog out playing out in front of you.
Yeah, and to allow them to play. And that's, also we do this with our own children. We restrict our children growing up. We tell them what they can and cannot do, what they can and cannot eat. We tell them all these different things. We want to guide them, certainly, but we also need to allow them to become the individuals that they are meant to be. And so it's how we live our own lives, how we are free, we are autonomous, and we show our children, this is who I am, deeply, authentically who I am, and I want you to become the authentic person that you're meant to be. And so in the relationship I have with my daughter, she's almost 19 now, she doesn't live with me, but the connection that we have is I don't judge her, I don't provide any shame or guilt on her for anything that she does. I support her in telling her about my life as much as she wants to hear, and showing her by example that I live my authentic life, and that she is free to choose whatever life she desires. And I will love her and support her and guide her as best I can, but it truly is up to her. And if we start teaching our children young that that's how life is, they will grow up in a way where they are strong, independent, very healthy individuals because they know how to communicate their boundaries. They know how to communicate their wants, their needs, their desires at all levels of their life, not just in the sexual realm, but whether it's financial, whether it's relationship, friendship, work, whatever it is, they will have that confidence that we talked about in the beginning over here. They will have all of that in all aspects of their lives. And so, have you ever experienced a relationship at this level?
I'm new at it. It's very new. I feel like it's the people that are at that level that I've been involved with, I don't have to worry about them. And I know that when feelings come up for me, it's something I can talk to them about, but usually I don't have to because they're just so low key and just so like celebrating who I am and what I'm doing, and it's just, it's like none of it's a big deal. It's very strange.
It is very
Because in the whole monogamous mindset about you're my one and only, there's so much that you feel like you have to do for that person, to satisfy that. And there's so much that everybody needs that this allows you to really be who you truly are. And then if you can't give something that's you're asked, there's always someone else they can.
Right.
It's very different.
So what do you think?
I think for me, I definitely have one partner that I'm with that I'm at the sexual abundance level, not necessarily freedom because I do feel like they kind of still have their claws in me, but I'm very happy with at least the fact that I can be free with them and talking with them about what I want, what I desire, and they're interested and actually willing to and excited to help me get there. And I think that has made me feel so loved, accepted, and just free.
Yeah, it does.
And
it sounds like you're moving in this direction.
it's one of the best feelings that I've ever had with a partner, and it's unfortunate it's not my monogamous partner,
Right.
but I'm very happy that at least I've been able to experience it, and I hope will continue.
Lovely. Alright, so there's a few other pieces to our quadrant. So when you look at these levels, these two boxes up here have to do with things that are outside yourself. So these are things that come from the outside. It's that shifting from monogamy, the monogamous mindset. This is that external abundance outside yourself. These are the things that happen inside you. So it's the work, that internal work of letting go of the judgment, and then accepting the liberation and creating your own beliefs and norms. And then that freedom of truly embodying living in all this process of letting go. And then the other piece along the bottom is that we have attached and unattached. And I did a whole book series on attachment. So across this direction, these two areas, you're still having attachments to things. So you're attached. Here you're kind of starting to let go a little bit of monogamy. Here you're starting to embrace kind of the internal piece of who you are, but there's still a lot of attachment because of the guilt and shame. When you start moving in this direction, the ultimate goal here is in freedom, that there is no attachment in the connections that you're making.
And isn't the heart mean that you're able to really truly love people completely?
Love people
as they
yourself.
are, but yourself as
Yes,
well.
Absolutely.
I mean,
That
yourself
you can
first.
love and enjoy people for who they are without having them be anything of that. So you're not placing expectations, obligations, restrictions, limitations, rules, anything in that relationship. You're allowing that person to truly be the autonomous individual that they are, and they allow you to do the same. And then step 5, is your authentic self, which encompasses all of this. So all of this is what creates your authentic self. And that the step 5 is making a commitment to being this through this process. So by learning and following the steps to sexual freedom, you're embracing the mental, emotional, physical, and energetic work of transformation that will shift your life's trajectory to head in the direction of your dreams and desires. You will grow in sexual freedom as well as overall freedom in your life. As I said at the beginning, this quadrant and these processes can be applied to any aspect of your life, whether it's your finances, your health, your recreation, anything in your life, you can follow this process. Because if you look at, especially money, you look at all the influences that we have that come from the outside and how we view money. And then we have to liberate ourselves from that. And then we have to understand there's abundance within money, and then we become free in how our money flows to us. It really is an interesting process. So the secret of all of this is that this is your authentic self. That's step 5. And you're tapping into and tuning into your authentic self. You're really listening to your own voice in this process. Because no one else can do this work for you. We can give you the guidance, we can give you the tools, but I can't do the work for you. It truly is you creating your badass red dress life, the one that you want, the one that feels right for you. Because what feels right for me doesn't feel right for you. So my last question is, the last 2 questions is, what has been or could be an instrumental change that you do in your daily life that will take you in touch with your authentic self?
Well, I feel like I'm already on my way, but what really changed me was the meditation pieces that you suggested. And it's like this 11-minute morning meditation. So even if I can't do it when I first wake up, because I have like children in my house and there's a lot happening for me to like get out to work. but I can still listen to it in the car on my way to work. And so I've been doing that almost a year now. And it was like something off the cuff you said, you know, I was like, I don't know, and you're like, oh, well, I do this meditation. I grabbed onto it and did it. But that helps me to like reframe.
Do you have any practices that help you, or are you looking for?
I've been going to DBT practice, and so that's been helping me kind of really understand mindfulness and being able to be okay with where I'm at in the moment, and just being able to accept myself for where I'm at, and be proud of that I am who I am. And so, yeah.
We feel so empowered and free, and like anything really is possible.
I think that's one of the interesting things about this is that as we go through our life, we talk about losing things, but there's a difference in losing something and letting it go. So if we lose something, usually, you know, oh, I lost my keys. It's something you want to find, right? But if we're letting something go, we don't want it to come back, right? Most of the time when we let something go, we don't want it to come back. So one of the things we talk about in our internal TPS is our thoughts, our feelings, and our words are really key elements. And when we speak our words, they are an embodiment, a physical representation of our thoughts and our feelings. So when we say words of, you know, I'm going to lose something, do we want that back? Do we want monogamy back? Do we want a fixed mindset back? Do we want things that don't serve us anymore to come back? No, we want to let them go. And we're going to create something new. So just, again, it's that mindfulness, that awareness of the words we use. And I'm constantly doing this for myself, and it is a journey for me because I really did not understand at the very beginning of this how ingrained my words are, and I don't even think about them. I just say them, and it's a lot of autopilot. And so in the last 6 years, 5 years since I've met Mark in particular, it's really moved me in a new direction to be more mindful, to be more aware. And I still catch myself a lot. So it is a lifelong journey. I am not an expert at this, but I've been far enough along the journey that I've learned a lot through my own experience. And so I like sharing it and helping others living along their journey. Thank you. You're very welcome. So if you are interested in how to live a life without attachments, as we talked about down here, you can email me at kat@bardsociety.com, and I'll put that in the comments for more information about my book study. And I also appreciate any feedback that you have. So you can also join our email list if you're not already in our email list at www.bardsociety.com. If you're watching this on Facebook, then you're already there. I also have a YouTube channel that I'll upload this, and you can find my other videos there on YouTube. At BARDS Tribe on YouTube. So join us next month for our last of the series. It's been quite a journey, and we will see you on March 10th. Thank you so much. This is BARDS.